Welcome back to the Florida A&M's History Channel. Today we'll be discussing some of Florida A&M most prestigious presidents and their contributions to not only our lovely university, but African American livelihood and what we like to call
John Robert Edward Lee Sr., also known as J.R. Lee, was a civic leader, teacher, and educational association founder. He was born into slavery on January 26, 1864 in Seguin, Texas, to John and Mary Lee, and later attended Bishop College in Marshall, Texas. His outstanding scholarship at Bishop led to his appointment as a student assistant to the faculty, which also led to him receiving his A.B. and graduating with honors in 1889, where he later served as a principal of the two-teacher school in Palestine. In 1891, he left Palestine to assume the role of Dean of Men and Professor of Latin, Mathematics, and History at Bishop College. During that time, he also served as a consultant for the Black Schools and Churches of Marshall. Lee's work at Bishop brought him to the attention of Booker T. Washington, and in 1901, he was invited to become the head of the Tuskegee Institute Mathematics Division. Lee accepted but left Tuskegee 2 years later to assume the role of professor of mathematics at Benedict College in South Carolina. In 1903, Bishop College awarded Lee an honorary Master of Arts degree, and in 1905, he returned to Tuskegee as director of the academic department. In 1918, Wilberforce University awarded Lee an LL.D. in recognition of his notable humanitarian services, and some years afterwards, Howard University honored him with another LL.D. for his outstanding contributions to Negro education. One of those contributions was the founding in 1904 of the National Association of Teachers in Colored Schools, of which he was president for the first 5 years. In 1921, Lee left education to become the Extension Secretary for the National Urban League. In 1924, he became the president of Florida A&M College in Tallahassee, Florida, where he remained for the next 20 years. During his tenure, Lee expanded the school curriculum, introduced extension programs, and obtained accreditation by the Southern Association of Colleges and Secondary Schools. Lee is remembered for his dedication to higher education and humanitarian services for African Americans in the South. With this being said, Lee Hall is one of the most monumental and prestigious buildings at Florida A&M University. It was built in 1928 on the highest of the 7 hills in Tallahassee. This landmark houses the office of the university president and others, and its 1,190-seat, completely redesigned auditorium. Lee Hall Auditorium is a fully equipped and
Dr. George William Gore Jr., a native from Nashville, Tennessee, was FAMU's 5th president, serving from 1950 to 1968, making him the second longest serving president. He earned his bachelor's degree in English and journalism from DePauw University, where he was a member of DePauw's first class of Rector Scholars and the first Black Scholarship graduate. He later earned his master's from Harvard University and his PhD from Columbia University. During Gore's presidency, the Florida legislature elevated FAMU from college to university status in 1953 and became known as Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. During Gore's presidency, more than 20 buildings were constructed during Gore's presidency, including Gibbs Hall, the FAMU Hospital, which was the only medical facility for Negroes within 150 miles of Tallahassee, Tucker Hall, FAMU Developmental Research School, Truth Hall, Agriculture and Home Economics Building, also known as Perry Page, by becoming the first Negro institution to become a member of the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges. Gore's tenure is most remembered for the rise of student demonstrations, from the bus boycott, which sought to end racial segregation and employment and seating arrangements on city buses, to lunch counter sit-ins, which on February 20th, students from Florida A&M and Florida State held a sit-in at Woolworth's lunch counter in downtown Tallahassee. To theater protests, FAMU students took a lead role in Tallahassee's civil rights movement. A woman named Patricia Stevens-Dew, a Florida resident for most of her life, was an alumna of Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, was a major leader in Tallahassee's civil rights movement. In 1968, following the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King, Dr. Gore decided it was time to resign.
Benjamin L. Perry was born in Eatonville, Florida on February 27, 1918. Perry attended and graduated from FAMU Demonstration High School. He then received his bachelor's degree in agricultural from FAMU and his master's at Iowa State University. Perry was FAMU's sixth president. He became president in September of 1968. Before becoming president, Perry was a professor of economics, dean of students, dean of administration, and the director of research and grants. He also founded the Naval ROTC program, business school, and architecture school. While being president, Perry's biggest accomplishment was stopping the merger with Florida State. Perry, under the leadership of Dr. Leonard Johnson, started a Save FAMU campaign along with the students and alumni. He was successful with his campaign and stopped the potential merger. Perry resigned in 1977 and later died in 1997 after being struck by a car.